How can we overcome depression? Knowing the facts aids in overcoming depression. Depression is not laziness or a passing reaction to typical loss and/or discouragement. Rather, it is a medical illness. Depression signs and symptoms. When 5 or more of the following symptoms are present daily, or on the majority of days, for 2 weeks or longer, it is considered to be a major depressive episode. Moodiness or depression. Issues with sleep. That is, sleeping too much or too little, sleeping mainly during the day. Low motivation or a change in interests. That is, no longer being interested in something you once enjoyed. Excessive guilt or an unreasonably low opinion of oneself. Significant energy decline and/or alteration in self-care. That is, not showering anymore. Worse than usual concentration. That is, sharp decline in grades or performance. Alterations in appetite. That is, eating too much or too little. Severe anxiety or panic episodes, or agitation. Suicide ideas, plans, or actions, such as self-harm. That is, intentionally cutting or burning yourself. It's critical to keep in mind that not all people who are depressed attempt suicide. Even if you haven't shown any specific signs of self-harm or suicide conduct, or if your symptoms aren't as severe or chronic as those mentioned above, you can still get help. Okay, I'm feeling down. Then what? Knowing the signs of depression will help you develop some effective coping mechanisms. The following methods are all backed by medical research and professionals who prescribe pharmaceuticals, such as psychiatrists, and they are routinely suggested as crucial components of treatment even for individuals who continue to take antidepressants. Use these coping mechanisms every day. While dealing with depression, I advise using many, if not all, of the coping mechanisms and approaches listed below. It's vital to understand that because sadness typically saps motivation, you probably won't be motivated to accomplish any of them at first. In other words, be aware that feeling unmotivated until you're halfway through is common. Patients I work with who regularly use these coping mechanisms improve. The abbreviation my peers can be used to memorize the 7 strategies. 1. Intent. Look for tiny ways to help others. Achieve personal fulfillment by contributing to a cause greater than yourself. Have in mind that service need not be extensive to be valued. The following should be taken into consideration. Success, like happiness, cannot be pursued, it must ensue. As the unintentional side result of one's personal dedication to a cause greater than oneself. Man's Quest for Meaning by Viktor E. Frankl. 2. Your aims set realistic objectives that make you feel successful. While discussing objectives, the majority of people feel bad because the goals are illogical or unattainable. A goal is feasible if anything under your control that is independent of third parties. Manageable, that is, not overwhelming, that is, not overwhelming. Reasonable for you, not for someone else. Measurable, that is, you know whether or not it is done or getting done, i.e., you know whether or not it is done or getting done. Have a "what can I learn from this" approach rather than a condemnatory "this is why I'm terrible" mentality if something goes wrong with your aim. Be cautious when evaluating your progress in comparison to others. We frequently contrast our greatest flaw with another person's greatest strength. It's unjust, and usually not accurate anyhow. 3. Pleasing activities. Plan enjoyable activities or events. Do not wait till you are in the mood. For instance, permit yourself to take a daily 30-minute holiday, or plan a good hobby. Just keep in mind to approach these things with the proper mindset. See engagement. Practice gratitude as well by pausing to reflect on what went right rather than just what went wrong today. Think about keeping a notebook of thankfulness. Recognize that acknowledging your blessings does not require you to ignore your challenges. 4. Engagement. Focus on the here and now. Sometimes, this method is referred to as mindfulness. Do your hardest during activities not to be self-critical of yourself. Although you might not be able to stop the self-criticism, you can recognize it and gently refocus on the here and now. According to research, those who value or are confident in themselves more also have high levels of self-compassion. 5. Work out and eat healthily. Your mood can be significantly improved by engaging in moderate exercise 5 times each week for 30 minutes each session. When exercising at a moderate intensity, it becomes challenging to sing from the diaphragm. Pay attention to how the foods and beverages you are consuming affect your mood. You don't have to follow fad diets, but anyone who regularly binges on carbohydrates, junk food, and energy drinks can experience depression. Keep in mind the benefits of moderation. 6. Relationships. Pay attention to those who uplift you. Engage in regular conversation with folks that lift you up, not people that bring you down. While spending some time by yourself is acceptable, try to strike a balance and avoid isolation if you don't want the sadness to last. 7. Get enough sleep. Strive to maintain a regular sleeping routine. Achieve equilibrium by getting the right amount of sleep. A surefire method to fuel depression is to stay up late one night and then sleep in a lot the next day. Don't attempt problem solving late at night when your brain is just partially awake. Recognize your progress in overcoming depression when you use these coping mechanisms. When patients invent an excuse as to why they are unable to do these tasks, depression is more likely to persist. The key to treating depression, regardless of the medicine you're taking, is to engage in several of these activities every day, even when you don't feel like it. Although developing these healthy coping mechanisms may take some time and effort, if we don't make the effort to be healthy today, subsequent unwellness may be thrust upon us.